Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. On Wednesday, the European Parliament will hold a debate on the Migration Pact, as requested by politicians from Manfred Weber's European People's Party, which includes Donald Tusk and Civic Platform MEPs. Last Thursday, Germany changed its mind on the Migration Pact, which it had up to that point blocked, along with a group of other countries, including Poland and Hungary.
If the EU resolution is adopted, then the forced relocation mechanism will come into effect. Countries that refuse to accept illegal immigrants will have to pay financial penalties, more than €20,000 for each person not accepted. These proposals do not solve the problem of illegal immigration, but on the contrary, they encourage criminals, smuggling mafias, and human traffickers to bring illegal migrants here. After all, if they get such a signal that we are not focusing on sealing the border, we are basically unsealing this border and only solve the problem when the illegal migrants get here to Europe, and we are going to deploy them all over Europe. This is a fatal direction. Legislative work on the migration and asylum package has been stalled due to the veto of the blocking minority: Poland, Hungary, Austria, the Czech Republic, the Netherlands, Slovakia, and Germany. Germany withdrew from the coalition last week. I, for one, believe that this migration pact, which is now on the table, is good for Poland. Poland is a frontline country. It has a huge migration from Ukraine, in the future probably also from Belarus. This legislation is good. Germans have to wait in long lines in a situation where there are hundreds, if not thousands, of patients in front of them who are still illegal. What's more, there was a German study like this in the spring, which quickly disappeared. But from this study, it appeared that 60% of these people are not working permanently. Some of these people the Germans would be happy to share with the rest, especially Poland. Berlin's sudden change of position has sparked surprise among members of the so-called blocking minority. On the issue of asylum law, internal divisions in Germany continue to run high. Former Bundestag President Wolfgang Schäuble has advocated cutting social benefits for asylum seekers and imposing a uniform level of such benefits across Europe. We have to realize that we can no longer afford such an asylum policy. If we offer a higher level of social benefits, we should not be surprised that people emigrate to Germany. Chancellor Olaf Scholz is stepping up Schengen border controls. Paradoxically, it is mainly Germany that funds NGOs that in the Mediterranean Sea help migrants reach Italian shores. The government of Giorgia Meloni has deemed the funding of such organizations to be a detriment to interest in the community. The United Right camp agrees with this opinion. They don't want to come to Poland, Lithuania, or the Czech Republic. They want to come to Germany, at worst to France or the Netherlands. But until someone in the European Union wakes up and starts thinking rationally in terms of seeking a policy that would discourage the uncontrolled flow of illegal migrants, this phenomenon will continue to grow. If forced relocation takes effect, the problem of mass migration will affect the entire European Union. France, Italy, and Germany are in favor of tightening asylum laws. Poland's position in negotiations with Brussels would be strengthened by public opposition, confirmed in a referendum. I solemnly before you annul this referendum. Donald Tusk is pursuing the same policy he pursued when he was in power in Poland, the subordination of Poland to German policy, which will eventually lead to a German-Russian alliance. To actually agree to this would mean the liquidation of Polish independence. We cannot allow this to happen. Wednesday's vote in the European Parliament was scheduled at the request of the European People's Party, Manfred Weber, which includes the Civic Platform and PSL MEPs. It should be mentioned that this German politician announced Donald Tusk as the European People's Party representative in Poland. Meanwhile, a few weeks ago, the Civic Platform took out a 25 million zloty loan from mBank, whose majority shareholder is the German Commerzbank, and whose largest shareholder is the German government. Tensions are escalating in many countries due to mass immigration to Europe. Clashes between police and gangs of juvenile arrivals from Africa and Asia and Sweden have left civilians dead, 12 in September. Last week, Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson decided to engage the military to fight against the migrant gangs.
A meeting of European Union foreign ministers was held in Kiev to discuss support for Ukraine, which is struggling against Russian aggression, and President Vladimir Zelensky's peace formula. Poland was represented at the meeting by Under-Secretary of State at the Foreign Ministry, Wojciech Gerwel.
Today, our countries will look at how we can support Ukraine on a diplomatic and political level, as planned on the sidelines of the Vilnius summit. Also, to send a message to Russia that they should not count on our weariness. We will be here for a long time to come.
the Russians' attacks on the civilian infrastructure, including on the ports on Danube, very close to the Romanian border, are war crimes. For us, it's important to continue the support for Ukraine. What the Russia is doing close to our borders is undermining the Ukrainian economy, the food security, including at the global level, and also the navigation, the civil navigations in the Black Sea.
I'm also pleased to announce today that we are going to open a new embassy office in Mykolaiv. On the request of President Zelensky, we have taken upon a special responsibility for the recovery of Mykolaiv.
We understand well what Ukraine is going through, because we had a similar experience of aggression in the 1990s. This is why we can and do provide assistance in many areas, from demining and recovery to investigating of war crimes.
We need to hold Russia accountable for their war crimes, for their aggression. And it is important to put pressure on Russia with sanctions. We have to do whatever it takes, as long as it takes, for the freedom of the people of Ukraine.
I am sure that Ukraine and the entire free world are capable of winning this confrontation, but our victory depends directly on our cooperation with you. The more strong and solid steps, the faster this war will be over. We'll be over on just terms, with the restoration of our territorial integrity and reliable guarantees for peace in the entire Europe.
This Japanese robot looks like something straight out of a science fiction movie. The dream of owning such a machine will soon become a reality for just $3 million.
Japan is really strong in the animation, games and robot industries, as well as in automobiles. So I thought it would be great if I could create a product that compressed all these elements into one that says, "This is Japan." Basically, you can get in and pilot it. It has 26 joints and can be controlled from inside the cockpit. It could be used at disaster relief sites and eventually for work in space. Rather than for sites where multiple robots can be brought in, we would like to develop multi-purpose work equipment where a single robot can perform multiple tasks at sites where only a limited number can be used. Tokyo-based startup Tsubame Industries has spent the past 2 years developing a four-wheeled, 4.5-meter-long robot somewhat resembling the Mobile Suit Gundam from the hugely popular Japanese animated series. The robot, named Archax after the Archaeopteryx, a late Jurassic flying dinosaur, is equipped with monitors in the cockpit that receive images from cameras connected to the outside, allowing the pilot to maneuver his arms and hands using joysticks inside the torso. The 4-meter-long giant has a robot mode and a vehicle mode, in which it can move at speeds of up to 10 kilometers per hour. Yoshida plans to build and sell 5 of the machines to begin with as toys for wealthy robotics fans, but hopes they could one day be used for disaster relief or in the space industry.
Biochemist Katalin Karikó of Hungary and molecular biologist Drew Weissman of the United States have won the 2023 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for their discoveries enabling the development of mRNA vaccines against COVID-19.
The Nobel Assembly at Karolinska Institutet has today decided to award the 2023 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine jointly to Katalin Karikó and Drew Weissman for their discoveries concerning nucleoside base modifications that enabled the development of effective mRNA vaccines against COVID-19. Here are the 2 laureates. Katalin Karikó was born in 1955 in Szolnok in Hungary. She performed her prize-winning studies at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia in the United States. She is currently a professor at Szeged's University in Hungary and is also an adjunct professor at the University of Pennsylvania. Drew Weissman was born in 1959 in Lexington, Massachusetts in the United States. He performed his prize-winning research together with Katalin Karikó at the University of Pennsylvania, where he is still active as a professor.
I'm not a Hollywood actor who loves to be in front of the audience and take credit for things like this. So, my job was to make a vaccine, and I did it.
What I realized that because they don't have the knowledge, so they are just believing, and I would tell them, just believe me, that it is a very safe and very important vaccine, and there are more will come, and all will be very beneficial for the people. And of course, the people are waiting also for the cancer vaccine, which will come, and then they might think differently, right? They are thinking right now.
According to the Nobel Committee's assessment, the work of the laureates made it possible to save the lives of millions of people, and in a much larger number, serious infection could be prevented. In addition to the medal, the laureates will receive about $1 million to distribute. Carrico was Senior Vice President and Head of RNA Proteins at BioNTech until 2022 and has served as an advisor to the company since then. She is also a professor at Szeged University in Hungary and an adjunct professor at the Perelman School of Medicine at the University of Pennsylvania. Weissman is a professor of vaccine research at the Perelman School. Carrico has found a way to avoid the inflammatory response triggered by the immune system against mRNA produced in the laboratory, which was previously seen as a major obstacle to any therapeutic use of mRNA. The Medical Prize inaugurates this year's gala, and the other 5 prizes will be announced in the coming days. The prizes, first awarded in 1901, were created by Swedish dynamite inventor and businessman Alfred Nobel, and are given for achievements in science, literature and peace, and in later years also in economics.
That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.